Every election cycle, the Capitol spits out a truckload of lawmakers. And if you look at the expressions on their faces, it's pretty clear most of them aren't ready to leave. Only a tiny fraction walk down the steps on their own terms. Let's take a look at the elected officials who are calling it quits. When legislators are asked why they're retiring, the explanation usually falls into one of three categories: family, money, or geography. This year, we heard all of them. This representative has a cradle full of kids that need his attention. This one needs more money to put her children through college, and this one is moving to a new home outside his district. There may be deeper political motivations that played a role, but for the sake of letting them have the last word, we'll believe what they told us. Calling it quits is a deeply personal decision, but it's not a decision that's made in a vacuum. A lot of times, constituents don't want to see their representatives go, and the caucuses can roll out plenty of sugar-coated promises that would make anybody think twice about leaving. On top of this, there are some very basic human interactions that need to be taken into consideration. For example, in order to land a position in higher office, you need to ask for help from a lot of people. And when you do decide to leave, you're essentially closing shop on the friends, family members, and coworkers who invested time and energy in your candidacy. As a result, if your departure isn't handled tactfully, closing the door can alienate a lot of your social network. That said, we shouldn't overlook the darker motivations that can keep a person in office long after their mission is served. We're talking about the addictive nature of influence. When you earn a place in state government, you're in the middle of the biggest game in town, and after you've seen the world from such a lofty vantage point, it can be hard to find stimulation in any intellectual pursuit that isn't encased in marble and gilded with bronze. Most lawmakers would never admit to seeing the outside world in such bleak terms, but until they can offer a persuasive theory as to why so many of them cling to power until the last fingernail-splitting moment, it's hard to argue that it's not part of the equation. And that's why there's something to admire about the retirees. If nothing else, they can always say they left on their own terms. And if they survive the withdrawal symptoms, they just might find that life in the gray tundra of nominal influence isn't as bad as most people in power seem to believe. That's all the time we have this week. Let us know what doesn't make sense, and we'll do our best to figure out how it happens.